Hello, people of the world watching vehicle-related stuff. Welcome to this. The 2005 Ford F350 Super Duty that I purchased for Charlie. Powered by none other than the 6-liter Power Stroke Turbo Diesel V8 with 4-wheel drive and a 6-speed manual transmission. And it is a commercial vehicle, so it has a flat frame back here for a service box or whatever you want to put on it. And since I currently have no way to tow stuff like this when it inevitably has to get tuned, and since Charlie has a week off for the holidays, it made most sense to try to tackle as much of this project now as possible. Oh, I got a little sideways. Before we get started on this thing, it's pretty greasy underneath, so it needs to get washed, only it's raining out, so I'm taking it to a car wash. Somebody's gonna be like, when are you using a brush on the feet? If you're new here or not up to speed on this project, I purchased it about a year ago and introduced it on the channel. The truck was originally owned by Southwest Energy here in southern Arizona and was used as a slurry pump truck in a mine. And if you're not sure what a slurry pump is, essentially it's a thing that has something to do with explosives and pumping it into the ground to blow things up. And I don't really know much more about that because I'm clearly not a miner. Well, that was a waste of 15 minutes and $8.95. This car wash did pretty much absolutely nothing. Just didn't have enough pressure. To help out with this project, since this truck is heavy, I need an assistant. There. Just to be safe, I thought it would be best to have Angel here helping out because this is a large truck and stuff's gonna be pretty heavy. Aw, sad. Not anymore. I'm gonna miss the Power Stroke. I just love the smell and the sound of them. Oh my god, this battery's heavy. That's like the limit of what I can pick up. Oh my god, that's heavy. I'd like to relocate the batteries to the back of this thing when it's got a Cummins in it. If you have to take apart brittle engine bay connectors on the harness and they're all dry and crackly, I use a little bit of interior detail cleaner to soften it up. And it also gets any crusties out of there and it makes it a lot easier to disconnect. There we go. Nothing broke.
It kind of smells funny in here.
It smells funny in here?
Like the truck?
Yeah, it's wet dirt. Little did I know that wet dirt wasn't actually dirt.
Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt? Oh, that stinks. It's got mouse poop on it. Old mouse poop plus car wash makes mouse poop soup. I don't recommend.
One ABS connector. Oh my god, so much dirt in my face.
Come on. Last thing I want to do is yank this into the hood, put a big dent. More body work that'll have to get done when this thing gets painted. Alright. Crazy. This thing's got a brand new AC condenser and radiator. This truck was well taken care of, well maintained. I mean, it was used hard because it was a mine truck, but this is gonna be so messy. Here goes. Ciao, Angel, you're gonna get a golden shower. The coolant looks clean on this thing. This truck was definitely serviced and maintained well. For those of you that are sad about the fact that this is a well-maintained, low-mileage, bone stock 6-liter that's never been modified, I have good news about what's gonna happen with this engine. You'll see in a little bit. Come on. There we go. Look, angel feet. Oh, oh, oh. It's got a little bit left in it. I find myself sometimes editing the video later and wondering why I said the things I said, but I'm just gonna leave it because that's how it happened. Oh my god, ouch. The vacuum was on there tight. Yeah, the coolant looked pretty clean on this thing. I had to go dispose of this in the Has Waste unit next door. And for the power steering fluid, looks like a scene from Dexter as it's going through all those little... Geez, how many threads does this thing have? That's off. This will take 10 minutes or more evacuating. Obviously going to use a reclaimer for the refrigerant. I don't want to kill any penguins. Or do I? What are you doing up there? You guys having an orgy? This thing's cold. For those of you that are completely confused by this point, wondering what is going to happen to this truck if it's getting its engine stolen out of it, well, I actually purchased a 2006 Ram 2500 24-valve Cummins straight 6 that is going to be swapped into this, known as de-stroking, by removing a power stroke and inserting a Cummins. And it will still be paired to the 6-speed manual transmission. There you go.
You don't like the rat poops now?
No, it fucking stinks. I'm amazed it didn't chew anything. Like, there's literally nothing that got chewed in here. They just pooped inside the battery box.
Actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
These manual transmission equipped F350s with the Power Stroke diesel actually have a transmission cooler built into the radiator like you'd see on an automatic transmission. It's not often you see a transmission cooler with a manual, but to remove the lines, it requires this special tool right here. It looks a lot like a fuel line removal tool, except it's much thinner and made out of metal, so it's a lot more durable. We pretty much did this where Angel did everything below the frame and I did everything up above it for the most part. It just was easier.
I mean, you had to deal with the rat poop smell the whole day, so...
I did, and my throat hurts now.
I'm not complaining.
So the reason why this engine is coming out now, because Charlie bought this other 2003 F250 with a blown up 6-liter in it. Someone put some cheap aftermarket glow plugs in and it dropped one in the number 8 cylinder and put a hole in the piston. And unlike the 6-liter that was in that F250, this one has never been modified, nor will it ever be modified. It's gonna be just a bone stock 6-liter to make that truck perfectly running and serviceable again. Weird, it's like this cab has been off before. The inside of this cab is super mint. It's got all brand new rubber flooring in it. One cab bolt. What the fuck, is this bolt bigger? Really?
Yeah. They're 24s on the left side, they're 21s on the right side.
Why?
Don't ask me why, I don't know.
The fronts are 18s.
Yes.
A few random junkyard scores ago, we put a set of 2007 F350 power seats in this thing and modified them that they can be used with a Milwaukee battery when the battery is disconnected on the truck. Haha. I can neither confirm nor confirm that was an intentional modification. It's a strange cab bolt. Just when it seemed like this project of removing the cab was going all too smoothly, we obviously had to have something catastrophically wrong get discovered.
Whoa, what the fuck?
What? Holy shit.
How is it?
I just discovered something that there's no way I could have seen when we bought this truck, and is a major setback financially. There is a massive hole in the transmission casing in the bell housing area by the clutch. So yeah, it needs a new transmission casing, and that's not a cheap transmission. Are you gonna use your teeth? Angel, you can't use teeth on that.
Why not?
It's metal. Disconnect the downpipe. For now, this can stay on the frame. Why didn't I grab a breaker bar? It'll obviously have to get modified to work with a straight 6 later. Rotate that. That's out of the way. Move this into place so you don't get squished. It'll be an Angel squish take. I'm gonna run out of lifting ability in a minute. I can't budge that shit. There you go. All in all, it took about 3 hours worth of work to remove the cab from this 2005 Super Duty, and I would have to say if you were ever to do a major engine service on one of these, it's way easier to just pull the cab. Now that that engine is in Charlie's possession to get cleaned up and stick in that other truck, the hard part. It's time to really clean up this frame before the cab goes back on. With the magic of time lapse, a little bit of chemistry, and a lot of elbow grease, the frame was completely clean. Mission accomplished. Now that I'm finished breathing in harsh chemicals and getting goo in my face, Angel and Charlie have been putting the engine back in this truck.
Rear main seal done. Timing cover's done.
So this is gonna be our running and driving truck after he finishes the rest of the gaskets tomorrow.
And the new glow plugs and a STC fitting.
The STC fitting's all the way back here under the H-pop cover, under the turbo. So it's super easy to get to now. It's really hard to get to later, so I'm just gonna do it.
And then $4,000 truck has turned into $15,000 truck. Moving on, day 3. I want to take care of something before I drop the cab back down onto the frame, because from here it's gonna go straight to getting body worked and painted. This is all nice and clean, Now to the surface, it's crusty, but it's clean-ish. Oh no, that's a stain on my finger. It's clean. As much as I would love to sandblast this frame and powder coat it or paint it like I did the Ranger frame, this isn't a full restoration and this truck is not going to be on that level. Somebody's gonna be like, you're not doing this right. You need to sandblast it first, and you must think I have unlimited budget. This is rust. Surface rust, because this was in a mine where they use a slurry that is slightly corrosive. Even on the worst areas, it's not even flaky. Like, this is just barely what I would consider rust. Some of these areas are just raw, bare steel still. That's amazing. Top of the strut tower is all nasty from the brake fluid. A little bit of wax and grease remover, since this sat underneath the truck overnight, got dripped on. Just that area will need to get Scotch Britain.
Scotch Britain.
For those of you that live in winter environments where they use road salt, I do not live in one of those environments. We don't really even have a winter, so corrosion is a zero issue unless you're working in a mine where they use corrosive agents. And this is 100% necessary for what I'm about to do, because this stuff is terrible to breathe. Go. It's like opening a can of beans that will make your stomach bleed. This stuff is literally like rubber cement. It just bonds everything together. Angel, look at this.
Oh my god.
Like, I did kind of clean inside there too. It's stuck on the inside of the can. That is ridiculous. I had to get a new paint can. Geez, you're making really fast progress. I can't talk, it's the chemicals. Normally I'm not an advocate for using a paintbrush because it just leaves hideous brush marks and it looks crappy. But because it self-levels and this is a textured surface to begin with, it actually turns out fairly decent looking. Like when I did my sister's Xterra, it looked great after. And it's still held up even though this is sensitive to UV because it's on a frame and it's under the truck. It doesn't really get exposed to light as much. But what it does is it chemically bonds to the rust and it makes it inert. It's like a delicate balance. You gotta get it right where it starts to run and like really thick, like a super wet coat, and then it will self-level. I'd rather have that than like little dry spots. Getting it inside all these little holes in the frame is annoying. Yeah, this part is not gonna go fast in here. What?
I guess I'll bundle up.
Paul Bunyan's underwear?
Oh, fine.
What'd you say?
I guess I'll bundle up.
As much as I would love to have done this in the paint booth with the paint gun, it would have took at least another day to a day and a half of prep alone and really wouldn't have netted that much better of a result considering this is just a work truck. And also there's something oddly therapeutic about watching this stuff get applied. It's like the same as mowing grass or vacuuming triangles into a carpet. Notice I said triangles and not lines because lines are weird. I don't know who actually does that. Still on my original paintbrush. It's still holding strong throughout this entire frame. A little bit of Loctite on that bolt. That'll be fun to take off later. It's actually not that bad. I've taken bolts off the stuff on it. I think there's progress happening over here. How's this coming along?
I think it already has the updated fitting in it though.
What fitting?
The STC fitting.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
but better safe than sorry.
Even though Charlie's plan is to flip this truck and try to recuperate some money, he's still going through the 6-liter and upgrading and updating some stuff to make it less failure prone.
But the number one killer of these trucks is people putting tuners on them. Go figure.
So you just leave it stock and update it. It should last.
Every single person I've ever known that was super happy with their 6-liter truck that had a bunch of miles on it, it was bone stock.
This stuff takes like 24 hours to dry, but we gotta set the cab back down. Luckily, the things in which it sits on were not painted. I don't really want to touch anything because it's still wet back here, but these plates right here, this angle iron and this big strap on the top of the frame, and these need to get removed because this is not gonna get a service box again. I'm gonna try to fabricate a custom aluminum tray for the back of it because I don't know if you ever looked up how expensive those things are, but they cost as much as a used pickup truck. So I'm gonna have to make it myself. Also, from the company that used to own this truck, they extended the frame about that much for this big bumper. That has to go, so it's gonna get cut off right here. Slight problem. Those are also welded along the very top. So those aren't coming off, and I wanted to try to paint behind them while this is still a little bit tacky. I know some of you are angry because I didn't wait until it's dry to try to remove that, but I have to try to paint underneath there, and it made more sense to do it while it's still tacky. If I could have got those off, I could have just kind of touched up.
Looks bueno.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's still, where it's glossy, it doesn't look the greatest, but when it dries satiny,
Yeah, that's really good.
right? Well, that's it's a lot nicer than when it started. You can see right here on the side of the frame where it's starting to get that satin finish because it's drying. The back of it's super wet still, but that's about what it's gonna look once it's dry. You can see up close, there's no brush marks. It's just got the dimpled texture of the metal. And no, it's not gonna keep this bumper. It's gonna get a new bumper. Preferably one that fits the theme that's in here of what this truck will look like when it's done. But I might do one more video on this for you guys before I get back to work on the Celica. Quite a few parts have arrived for it, so I can get a lot more progress made, but I just wanted to get the ball rolling on the Super Ute. Get it? Super Ute? Because it has a flat bed. It's a Ute. It's got a flat. Never mind. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.